Hi everybody, it's Julia from Matheson Travel coming to you this week from San Francisco again. And this week I wanted to give you a sort of overview or the way I think about the pros and cons versus traveling independently and traveling in a group. I know a lot of people really don't, or group travel has sort of gotten a bad rap lately, and I wanted to kind of give you my experiences on why you should choose one or the other. This summer I did a month independently and then I did 2 back-to-back guided vacations. And, after traveling around by myself, I really could appreciate the benefits of traveling together in a group. One of which is the biggest thing is, I know when you buy a group trip, it feels like a lot of money up front, but let me tell you that traveling by your own, you're not going to get the same level of services, the same type of trip for the same amount of money. It's way more expensive if you want to have guided private visits to all of these, amazing destinations and, museums and things like that. If you start adding up private trips, that adds up quickly. The other thing to think about with the kind of upfront cost to a group trip with, if you do a high level trip like a Globus or a Tauk, which, I'm a big Tauk fan, it's basically all inclusive. I mean, you may have a meal or two that you have to pay for yourself. Otherwise, everything is taken care of. You don't have to worry about all these different international transactions or anything like that. Even some of the sort of lower level trips like G Adventures, not everything's included. A lot of your meals are going to be separate, but they at least tell you how much you're going to look to spend. So you have a really good idea, even though it is a big chunk up front, you have a good idea of exactly what your vacation's going to cost you. The second thing, and this is really the biggest thing, is there's no stress with a guided vacation. They have figured out all the logistics for you. They have booked all your hotels. They have, booked all your transportation. And let me tell you, after driving myself all around France, tolls alone, parking is such a pain in the butt. You never know quite where to park. If you get to a bigger city, you don't know what's closest to where you want to go and visit. But tolls, in France alone, one day I drove 2 hours and it cost me $30 in tolls. So things like that people don't think about all the time, and with a guided vacation they take care of all that for you. Again, whether it's all private with a company like Tauk, or maybe you even use public buses like I did with G Adventures. So you just don't have to stress when you're with a guided vacation, and part of that is because of the guide. And now this is one of the big differentiators in tour companies, because you really want good guides, and a good guide can absolutely enrich your experience. Companies like Tauk, G Adventures, well-respected tour companies work with really well-respected, licensed, certified guides, and those guides can just make a destination come alive. They can smooth over any difficulties that you have, help you. They're your advocate when you're, traveling, and they're just, having a guide with you is just so cool. They help you with little local recommendations and stuff like that. I really love having a guide, and when I was traveling alone, I was definitely thinking from time to time, like, ugh, I don't know where to go tomorrow, and really wish there was someone to help me figure out what the best choice to make tomorrow is going to be. So that's another big thing. Some of the things that people talk about not liking group travel is, you have to wait around for everybody, or you're in a big group and so you feel like you're just one of the sheep, being herded from place to place. And that is sort of the old model. A lot of the tour companies, a lot of new tour companies have listened, and they have smaller group sizes. Like Tauk has Culturious, which is small groups, more in depth. G Adventures is only small groups. Intrepid, there are a lot of different companies now that really focus on small groups. And so if that kind of sheep idea is something that worries you, you have different options. And the other thing is, it's not like you're in this group all the time. When you're on a group tour, people think that you're on the bus all day long. And if you choose a good one, or you use an advisor that advises you to choose a good one, that's not the case. You're going to have plenty of free time. When I was even on a river cruise, which you would think you're sort of busy all day, there were lots of days that I broke off on my own or with 1 or 2 other friends that I had made, and did really fun things that was just by myself in these great destinations. And then that last point is the making friends aspect. And again, some people don't like groups because, like, oh, what if you're not going to like anybody, or what if they're all fuddy-duddies or something like that. And I find that that's not the case. I have made friends that I keep in touch with for forever on many a different group trip that I've been on. They're like-minded people because they also chose to go on that trip with you. G Adventures, in fact, is a company which is also a growing trend that allows for solo travelers not to have to pay double to go on a trip by themselves. And when you travel by yourself in a group, then you have other people that are maybe by yourself, and it's just a really great way to meet other like-minded people that are traveling. So I just want you to know that, yes, when you are traveling independently, you do have more flexibility, more freedom, but it's a lot of work and it's a lot of stress. So if you're traveling just, with your family or anything like that, I really want you to consider looking at an escorted tour, because it really can be very much better to travel in groups. At least that's what I think. Let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you next week.